People who let their mom count to 0. What happened after? She reset me to the factory settings. A hard reset as we called it. I can physically feel pain just reading these comments. She was bluffing, but only the first time. Well, if the comment section is any hint of what happened. She was counting again, so you won't run away as she grabbed the wooden spoon. Tried it once. She gave a defeated sigh, then chuckled. Then she said something like, "You're getting too old." That was the day I became a man. I'll never forget my 32nd birthday. I'm 31 on Sunday. I have a lot to look forward to, apparently. The chase of a lifetime that ended in a red hot posterior. She was paddling me with a small, handled wooden cutting board, but it split along the grain, and I made the mistake of laughing, so she grabbed a wooden spoon. My grandma got so very pissed a couple of my cousins once that she started throwing whatever she could get her hands on. Shiz, spoons, brushes, but they were dancing around so much trying to dodge that they burst out laughing. This only pissed her off more, and their brother decided to help her out by bringing the stuff she threw back to her, so she never ran out of ammo, but this only made them laugh harder while simultaneously yelling at him to stop. They reached a stalemate when they all got tired to carry on. She started counting to negative numbers. I think mine did fractions. 1/2. 1/4. So she never reached 0? Zeno's paradox. Zeno's parenting. Bold of you to assume that they are alive to tell their story. I had my sister's Hello Kitty belt imprint left on my ass. I see this as an absolute win. Pussies. My mom started at 0. 0 immediately punches you. Spawn kill. I wish my mom spawn killed me. I'm gonna count again. 5.4. Hardest thing as a parent is following through on punishing these kids you love more than anything else in the world. As someone who never heard no and never was grounded. Discipline is love. I'm currently learning the hard way, and this is a lot harsher and more soul crushing than being grounded or extra chores. If you don't discipline them, they will have to learn discipline on their own. Not saying be harsh, but something. I had the same type of childhood, and now I'm struggling with self-discipline. Discipline your kids, because it will benefit them in the long run. And also learn how to effectively teach kids discipline. By which I mean, don't take notes from this thread. My ears are still ringing. Seriously, I got a minor case of tinnitus, 100%. It was my grandma, because mom didn't give warnings like that. Grandma is tiny, so we didn't worry. Normally we would step in line at 2. Once, AO and 13, I decided to stand my ground and her little arm made contact with the side of my head with the speed of a timber rattler. That day was rough. We learned that running from her was much more effective. Then, she learned that we were not worthy of warnings. I'm 6 feet 5 inches. My nana is about 5 feet 2 inches. One day I was being a smartass to her and my cousin. She told me to stop picking on my cousin, or she'll smack me one. I kept going. My nana came up beside me and asked me to steady her while she leaned on me. I didn't think anything of it until she smacked me in the back of the head with her slipper and said, "I told you I'd smack you one if you didn't cut it out." I was 27 at the time. I'll never know. She got to 7, and, being the resident smartass, I said, "Oh cool, showing off again, mom." That went real well for me. Oh lord, she comment. I'm just piggybacking off this comment because it was literally an oh lord moment. My mum is quite deaf. About 85% of her hearing is gone. Well, around the time it first started to fade, she was in a foul mood. She screamed at me to tell my cousin to come downstairs and come and eat. As I turned and said okay, and she could not read my lips, I just heard her scream from behind me. I said, "Gio, and get your cousin," as she opened the freezer door, pulled out a frozen loaf of bread, and launched it directly at my head. I woke up about 90 seconds later with her sobbing on top of me and with a pounding headache, and she never hit me again. We also got McDonald's after. Everything goes black and the last thing I see is my mother's slipper speeding toward me. It's funny how they can make getting hit by fuzzy pink slipper feel like getting hit by a Mack truck. She smiled and embraced me. "You've passed the test," she said. "You are a man now." The next day I woke up and I was a plumber with 20 years experience. Did you befriend a royalty with bunch of chain smoking tiny guys with mushroom hats afterwards? Not my mother, because she rarely disciplined me and my siblings, but my grandma, oh no. When I went to zero, I got her classic little old Asian lady move, a sock filled with pennies thrown at me at speeds I never thought possible. Shit hurted. Every time your kids swear out a penny in your sock and soon you'll have a weapon to be. She's currently on 1/112589990684264. I'll let you know if she ever gets there. If anyone needs a reference, that's 1/250. If your mom counts one number every second and has been halving the fraction each time, she hasn't even been counting for a full minute yet. R/the did the math. She yelled my name real loud. And daddy said, "Why don't you ever do that for me? You are the reason why I'm now cleaning juice off of my table." Fucking snorted so hard, got him. She slapped the soul out of my body and it ricocheted back in me. You know what a switch is, and I'm not talking about Nintendo. I let her divide by 0 once. A black hole opened up and all HELL* broke loose. Moms never get to 0. There's fractions out there you can't even imagine. 1 and 9/2. I never got in trouble, but my sister did. She let my mother count to 0. She just got shouted at. My sister ran upstairs crying. Goddamn, her mum didn't even need a wooden spoon. Let's hope other mothers don't learn the ancient arts. I used to not know what would happen when I counted to 10. My son has let me get there once, and it ended with me literally wrestling him into his pajamas and him going to bed without getting to read any books. He was very upset, and I felt like a terrible person, but he hasn't let me go past 7 since that day. Alright, I'm coming in late here, but this reminded me of the time I went the distance with my mom. My whole life we've rarely argued, and during my entire upbringing we only had a few actual fights. All of which were 100% my fault. The point I'm making is that my mom is a really sweet, genuine person who did an amazing job raising 2 boys on her own. When I was 12 I had a bad day and got home in a mood. I wasn't quite looking for a fight per se, but I was being a crabby, snappy, negative jerk. Mom put up with it for a while and then had enough. I can't recall the catalyst, but she wanted me to do something and I refused. So the count came, 3, 2. And I interjected, 1, bitch. There was a stunned silence for a moment, and then she looked at me with rage in her eyes. I'm sorry, I pleaded, but I had crossed a line and punishment was coming. She moved so fast, like a blur, and I was frozen. I was taller than her, but she scooped me up, thrust me in a chair, and told me to wait there. Her voice had both ice and heat. How is that possible? She came back with a bar of ivory soap which she jammed into my mouth. It was gross, with high notes of bitter soap taste, but also a strange sickly sweetness that made me want to gag. And that's how I know that Dr. Pepper tastes like Robitussin with ivory soap, a splash of prune juice and carbonated water. I think I got grounded as well, but the fear she instilled really did the trick. I stupidly said, "Wow, I didn't know you could count," and she beat the soul out of me. I saw everything that had ever happened in any place ever all at the same time. I saw every great extinction event in reverse and the thunderous slaps had fucking reverb. She beat me like a sexually frustrated teen beats their meat. She hit me so hard I saw new colors. Her grip was like a jaguar's jaws on a gazelle's neck. There was no escape.